The goal of Blue White Miracles is to play at the top of the deck, and
Uh,
Alexander's most famous catchphrase is "Can't thought sees the top of the deck."
yeah, I mean that's true. Uh, the big thing though here is Cheese wants to set up the top of the deck.
Yeah.
And if you can't, can we talk about banning Cavern of Souls? I do not think that card is worth banning.
No, it is very like narrow. Obviously, you're only playing it in like dedicated tribal decks. Counter Magic isn't like rampant in the format, so it's not like stonewalling decks and stuff. So I just don't think it's worth banning. It's like yeah, it allows you to play these like 5 color tribal decks and like, but most of the time they need to be able to stretch into that fifth color, or else it's just not a playable deck.
Yeah.
Also, like kind of off topic. Alexander here, such a resident top player, he's decided that he doesn't need to fill out the sheet. We know him.
Yep.
We know what's up.
Start Grim Flare. Okay, so he's actually got pressure here, which is the one thing Cheese needed him not to have.
Yeah.
Um, he has a pretty shaky mana base right now. No second blue source. This timely reinforcements is gonna actually get him 3 guys and gain him 6 life. So that's pretty big. But Terminus looks really bad in his hand. Settle the Wreckage, once it's known about, is pretty poor. Alexander is going to not attack into it every time he's holding mana open.
Yep.
Or he's going to attack one guy that he doesn't care about into it.
Yep.
Or he's going to wait until he has the actual Thoughtseize.
Yep. We got Lil Will. Sorry, I can't even read it all. Yeah, Lil Will. Once he finishes Blue White Miracles, he's gonna show up. But I'm getting ready. Yeah, totally. Come on down, more the merrier. I haven't actually seen Blue White Miracles until right now. So
I've played against it once with Panza. That matchup is kind of weird because I can't shut them out of their spells. Ooh, all right. Now Jace is the reason to be playing this deck.
yeah,
He's gonna bounce his creature, start getting in pressure on that Liliana, and next turn he can start setting up his hand, and consequently setting up the top of the deck, so that way he can Terminus when he needs to.
yeah. I mean, like if Alexander can't answer this Jace, it'll be pretty good. But like, obviously, looking at the board, putting Terminus on top of his deck isn't going to do anything. You know, he's like, what is he
Yeah,
wiping away? You know, and from what I can see from Alexander's hand, he has the other Liliana. He has Liliana the Veil. He can just win with double Liliana.
yeah,
And it's like, what is Terminus going to do?
yeah. I mean that it does nothing there instead. But let's see, Alexander. I see. Is that an Abrupt Decay in his hand? That's looking pretty bad right now. Replay Grimflayer. Yeah, I know Alexander has never been a fan of Assassin's Trophy. He knows it gives you a few extra percentage points against Tron. But I think like he was mentioning, like the day he took it out, he
Yeah.
went and like beat 2 Tron decks. So
Yeah,
it like it's not necessary for that matchup. It is good.
yeah.
By no means is it like a bad card for that matchup, but it is not necessary.
Yeah, and the thing is, like one of the best things or one of the things that it's best against is planeswalkers, and in modern there really aren't that many.
No, there really aren't. You have to worry about Jace, you have to worry about Teferi, and you have to worry about the stuff in the mirror match.
Yeah,
And like
Liliana's.
that's about it.
Yeah, and even like Jace, like very rarely shows up. It's played in like this. It's played in blue white control, but less of than Teferi.
Yep.
And like random like tier 3 decks like turns and stuff.
Well, and one of the other things is that a lot of the stuff Jace does is not super impactful in this matchup for Alexander. And he can kill Jace. Now we're gonna see Settle go off. He's gonna go get a basic, likely Forest.
Sure. I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, he's got more than enough mana to operate here. He's playing like 2 and 3 mana spells at most. A lot of 1 mana interaction.
Yeah, he probably just plays like Liliana here, tries to like get the rest of his hand.
Yep. Once Cheese is out of cards in hand, this game becomes a lot easier. Mana Leak.
Can't cast it.
Yep. So instead, we're gonna start discarding cards.
Yep. Keeps it in hand just in case.
Discards Abrupt Decay. Clearly a little weak here. Not really anything you want to answer out of Cheese's deck.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of when you have a card like that. Sometimes it just does very little.
Yeah,
And it's fine.
this deck is completely okay playing some cards that are a little variable, but maybe not like full flexibility. You can frequently discard them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Jace is really good in this matchup. Yeah, Jace is a very good card. By no means is Jace bad, but I think that this is like not the matchup where it shines the most. The matchup where it shines the most is against like creature decks.
Yeah. The one thing that is good against Jace about Jace is his like when he's unchecked and you're able to keep putting the relevant cards on top of your library.
Yeah.
And like hide them from Thoughtseizes and stuff.
Yeah, I mean Alexander Abzan slightly differently from Jund is able to pressure Jace on the board pretty frequently. He's playing Grim Flayer, main deck Scavenging Oozes, main deck Lingering Souls.
Yeah, Lingering Souls.
He has lots of ways to actually pressure Jace on the board. Something that you don't actually see coming from Jund too much.
Yeah, Jund is a lot slower.
Normally it's like some Dark Confidants, some Bloodbraid Elves, and
Raging Ravine maybe, but
yeah,
that's like
and
way late game.
Goyf. And like you're like lower on the creature count a little bit, and you're like trying to resolve spells that will answer Jace, and Blue-White Miracle is trying to interact on the stack and not so much on the board. You have some Settle the Wreckages, some Terminuses, and Path to Exiles is your like answers. If this were like Jeskai, a little bit of a different story. Jeskai has like a lot of 1-for-1 interaction, and
Bolt,
can interact on
stuff like that. Yeah,
can interact on the board pretty favorably most of the time. Cheese is trying to cast his Terminus mostly. We're gonna Cryptic, probably bounce Liliana, draw, and then we're gonna Miracle Terminus.
Yep.
These cards all get blown out by Terminus. Jen literally has BBE and Lightning Bolt. Yeah, Terminus is a huge card, but you have to let Jace stick. We're gonna eat some stuff first. Cannot eat Terminus. Eat Settle.
Does Terminus exile itself?
No, you can't eat Terminus because Terminus is still on the stack.
Oh, sure. Bloodbraid is too random. Sometimes.
Yeah, I think Bloodbraid Elf is clearly one of the stronger cards here, or like in this kind of matchup. I just think that Jace is not like the powerhouse he always is more of the point I'm trying to make. Not like saying that Jace is bad. I think I've said quite a few times that by no means is Jace bad.
Right.
But Jace is not the end-all, be-all that he maybe once was.
Yeah. He used to be like the boogeyman.
Yeah. I mean, and when they unbanned him, they thought he was safe, and clearly he is.
Yeah.
Lots of decks have ways to interact with him. I mean, clearly Jace is not good enough that Alexander decides to pack Assassin's Trophies.
Yeah.
Tron and like control decks that you need to answer walkers from are the reasons you put Assassin's Trophy in your deck, because those are the decks that are going to play long enough games that you don't care that they get the land.
Yep.
They're not going to leverage it so quickly that it is a nightmare for you.
Yeah.
And I mean, he doesn't have any Assassin's Trophies here.
Yeah.
He doesn't think that the card is good enough or that those things are relevant enough.
Yeah, that those matchups are so bad where he needs to play them. Yeah, I mean, like, look, he's got two spirits, and while they're not like, clearly great, I'm pretty sure like Cheese is trying to see if he's gonna tap down his team, and Alexander just like, he's very informal.
Yeah.
So he's just like, if you got it, just like, if I turn my thing sideways and you say no, I'm gonna cryptic you, that's fine.
Block one of them, sure.
Sure. Does he have another one in hand? Is that why he's okay with letting it go? No, he's got negate and cryptic.
Not sure why you let Jace go there.
Yeah, not for free. I don't know. Maybe he's like wasting a cryptic on tapping 2 spirits isn't worth
Yep.
it.
Maybe.
But I don't know. To keep your Jace alive, I think is worth it.
Yeah.
Even to
You're in like plus Jace territory now.
Yeah, I was gonna say even if you just like plus him a couple times to get him back into like a relatively safe like loyalty, but
Gonna cast Cryptic. Oh, gonna cast Hieroglyphic Illumination first. Draw 2. Let's see what's happening.
he's trying to get a more efficient counterspell. But yeah, oh, bounce the token, sure.
And now we're like sort of where Alexander wants to be. Sure, Cheese has a card in hand or has 2 cards in hand, but like he's not super ahead. What main deck?
rest in peace. That's
All
so
right.
weird. Sure.
I mean,
He doesn't care about his own graveyard, right?
he's gonna hose Tarmogoyf, gonna hose Lingering Souls, make things a little rough. Cheese's graveyard is also exiled, so he's not gonna. If he has Snapcaster Mages in his deck, those aren't gonna work.
I'm assuming not if he's.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume not as well, but I mean, you can never be too certain.
Yeah, notably he should. Oh, Alexander scoops it up. Says I can't beat a Teferi.
Yeah, that Teferi is a lot more lights out than Jace is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving to sideboards. Alexander's probably got a little bit of room to try and make this one up.
Yeah.
Cheese's sideboard, we've got 1 Timely Reinforcements, 2 Porphyry Nodes, 1 Celestial Purge, 1 Supreme Verdict, 2 Dispel, 1 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Stony Silence, 1 Crucible of Worlds, 1 Lyra Dawnbringer, 2 Vendilion Click, and 1 Baneslayer Angel.
Crucible World is interesting.
Crucible of Worlds is to attempt to lock your opponent out of their lands.
Oh, sure.
With Field of Ruin.
Yeah.
It comes up. Who was the player? What's his name? Luis Salvato, I believe. In that GP where him and Reed Duke and one other guy flew out. I don't remember exactly who. To like try and all be Player of the Year at the last GP to get points for the season. Multiple times on stream, he brought in Crucible of Worlds and like strip mined his opponent out of the game with Field of Ruin.
Interesting. All right. In the matchup, I don't even know. Celestial Purge.
Celestial Purge seems a little weak. It hits black and red permanents. Alexander not on a ton of black permanents here.
I guess it hits Grim Flare and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Well, any permanent, right?
I believe so.
So it also
it'll hit the Planeswalkers as well.
That's probably good enough to bring it in. I mean, it's just a one of, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really see much. I mean, unless he wants to bring in the Crucible.
Yeah, Crucible might be good here. Once you play it, you can just Ghost Quarter or Field of Ruin, which we saw he has both in this deck. Your opponent off of all of their lands.
Yeah. Timely Reinforcements is actually pretty good, too. I mean, it blocks Tarmogoyf forever, so.
Yeah. Frequently is behind. Alexander, of course, also has a sideboard. 3 Fulminator Mage in there, 1 Kalidas, Trader of Get, 2 Surgical Extraction, 1 Collective Brutality, 1 Damnation, 1 Maelstrom Pulse, 1 Engineered Explosives, 2 Nile Spellbomb, 1 Damping Sphere, and 2 Stony Silence.
I would bring in Surgicals. Because it seems in this matchup there are cards that you just can't answer, and if he's able to like Thoughtseize Surgical them out, like Teferis, Jaces,
Sure,
like his like big hitters, you know,
maybe.
Doesn't seem the worst. Collector Brutality I could see coming in. He doesn't know if he's on snaps or not, so it's not the worst. And just having another discard spells against his like counter spells is pretty good. Other than that, Maelstrom Pulse seems very meh. I mean, it hits his Planeswalkers, but
Yeah.
3 mana.
It might be fine enough. You kind of need to answer those.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree. If he knows that his opponent is not on trophies, he definitely brings in the Angels. I don't think he knows that, so they're a little bit more of a toss-up there.
Yeah.
The Lyra and Baneslayer, of course.
Yeah. All right, Alexander over here. Fetch Shock plays Noble. Cheese plays a Celestial Colonnade.
Tapped land.
Yep.
Gonna let Alexander play something. Maybe that costs 3 on turn 2.
Yep.
Normally not where you want to be in this matchup, especially if it can be Liliana of the Veil. Oh,
Or
Lingering
just
Souls.
Lingering Souls. It just says, I'm going to be the aggressor in this matchup, which is fair.
That is what you have to do. You do have to be considerably more aggressive than Cheese, but you probably still want to be disrupting them. Not sure what disruption he has right now.
I saw Liliana of the Veil in his hand.
It's a pretty good one. Get in for 2. Leave a blocker back. Playing Lily of the Veil. He also has a Thoughtseize in hand.
He did bring in the Maelstrom Pulse, I think.
Yep. Either that or he has one in the main as well.
Yep. That's a Dismember, I believe.
So it is. I have not seen that Dismember art too often.
Yeah, the F&M promo one.
Alexander.
Or it's not F&M promo, right?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Alexander, always on point with his art and his foiling.
He is on point with foiling. He generally, his rule of thumb is the original printing is best.
Yeah.
I know he says that like Dismember is like the only promo art that he likes. So, all right.
Is he Vendilion clicking himself in response?
It seems like it.
You do have to reveal the card that you put on the bottom. Puts Terminus on the bottom. What are we drawing?
Vendilion Click seems really bad here.
He's just playing it out to get it away from the Thoughtseize.
Yeah, I mean just like bringing it in general. He's got a bunch of spirits.
In the main also.
Sure.
Yeah, it obviously does not seem super strong here. There are a few cards you might want to just take from Alexander. So, like, you might want to be able to try to preemptively get rid of Lily, or try to preemptively get rid of like an answer to your Planeswalker before the turn before you play it.
Mm-hmm. Sure, that's fair. Ooh, brought in Fulminator Mages. That's fine. You probably want to get rid of Colonnades, right?
Yeah, it's probably mostly to answer Colonnade, but you can also be like, yeah, my opponent has Field of Ruin, and I have an important land I need.
Like Shambling Vent.
Yeah, for instance. Interesting one to bring up there. I don't know why you would bring that one up.
I don't know.
I'm going to discard, probably discarding the Maelstrom Pulse.
Yep. He has a land in hand. I don't know. He has 1 card or 2? I think he has 2, right? No, he has 1.
1 card.
It is a Overgrown Tomb.
He can shock and then animate. Although
Cheese is representing Cryptic here.
He's representing Cryptic, not representing Settle the Wreckage here, although I think he has one.
He does.
And Alexander knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps why Alexander is playing slightly hesitant there. I think it might have been stronger to shock your land, fire up your Shambling Vent, start getting in and gaining some life back. Doesn't need to shock in. Oh, yeah, you're right. Even better. But still, we don't see him go for it at all. Field of Ruin. That is why. Doesn't want to spend a bunch of mana just to have it
fielded.
Yeah. I mean, Cheese doesn't know that Alexander's hand is doing nothing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if he did,
Yeah.
then he could just animate it, and I don't know. I feel like animating it is safe.
Yeah, it seems pretty safe there, especially since he didn't have the double white.
Yeah.
But now he does. He's probably just going to play pass, yeah.
Holding up Negate now.
That's fine. I think you just try to force him into playing Settle here.
What card did he just pick up there? Is that an Inquisition? Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, just going to take Negate.
Yep.
Knows about the Settle for sure.
Yeah, he knew about it
If he
before.
forgot about it, there it is. Knows about it again. Just going to swing with all of it. Blows up Colonnade now.
Yep. I mean, that's fine. It basically means, all right, I'm leaving you with a land in hand, and I have a Noble Hierarch and a Lily.
Yeah, which is more than enough to deal with anything Cheese is going to do for a while.
Yep. So basically, if he draws a counterspell, it doesn't matter because Lily's just going to make him discard it. And if he draws anything, if he draws like a creature, Lily can make him sacrifice it. Like,
yep.
Powerhouse. And flashes back souls. Terminus off the top. Wow.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, that's what this deck is trying to do.
Yeah, that's fine, though. Like, it kind of sucks that he wasted his Lingering Souls on it, but...
Yeah. I mean, Cheese probably wouldn't have cast it anyways. Or, like, wouldn't have cast it if he didn't do it.
Yeah.
So that's a fine enough thing to get him to fire it off on.
Lingering Souls with flashback.
Yep. Alexander has a Lily on 6, going to be able to ult next turn, which I honestly should be more than enough to end this game.
Probably.
He's got a 3-turn clock, and if he ults Lily...
just, like, bring him down on lands.
Yep.
Path 1, sure, you got it.
Is that in response to a Lily activation? Sure, he wants to keep her around. Which, honestly, is good as well. Yeah, now I think we're going to see...
Yep.
Yeah.
He scoops it.
Lily is kind of game-breaking in this matchup.
Yeah, like, the fact that Cheese puts basically nothing on the board.
Yeah.
Being able to, like, just be like, all right, half of your lands are gone. Like, you can't catch back up.
Every mode on Lily is so huge in this matchup.
Yeah.
We saw him use all of them that game.
Yep. The sacrifice one isn't, like, super, super relevant, but it does come up, like, an okay amount of time.
Well, and also he's playing so few creatures that every time you use that ability...
It's big.
Yeah.
Yeah. The big thing is that it doesn't hit Colonnade.
Yeah. I mean, that's notable about most sorcery speed effects.
Right. Which is fair, which is why Alexander brought in Fulminator Mages.
Yep.
It's like his best, cleanest way of answering.
Yeah, and you can answer Colonnade whether it's animated or not with one Fulminator Mage.
Yep.
Very easily.
And also just a 2/2 is fine in the control matchup if they're because it's not enough to make them like answer it. So it can usually chip in for like 4 damage or so before. Wow.
Takes that. Yep.
3 Field of Ruin.
Yeah, it's a rough opener, but he's got all his mana. He's got what he needs: double blue and a white. I mean, he'll need to get to double white eventually, but he has Field of Ruins. They activate to do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
You got it. And Alexander drew Tarmogoyf.
Jeez.
That's a little awkward.
He has answers. He has Abrupt Decays in his deck. He might have gotten rid of them, but he definitely still has Maelstrom Pulse.
Yeah. I think it's in his hand, too. I think I just saw it. Yeah.
I think he's on 1/1 Maelstrom Pulse. I think there's one in the main, one in the board. I could be wrong. Brutality, are we pitching anything? No, he just takes the path.
Yeah, there's no other reason. There's no reason to drain here.
No. He's got a Lily of the Veil. Probably going to cast that.
I mean, Cheese has only one unknown, so it's pretty unlikely as a counterspell here.
Yeah, and once you sneak Liliana through once...
Yeah. There's like almost no way to deal with it.
Why did Cheese keep that? Good question. Cheese a little bit risky with his mulligan sometimes.
Yeah. He might have thought like Alexander's only on, so many basics, like maybe like 2 or 3. Yeah. And if he can just like blow up a bunch of lands.
Yeah.
And like take him off of good mana, like it might be enough, but
seems too long of a game. Yeah, I think that's a very fair way to assess this hand.
Mm-hmm.
Is that game plan is so far off that he needs to answer stuff first. Can activate Field of Ruin, response, grab an island. That tells me that maybe what he drew here is like an opt or something.
It's possible. I think he was going to do it anyway.
Maybe.
Like if he has nothing in his hand, like obviously he's just going to do it.
Yeah.
Yep. He just doesn't have anything. Drew Terminus. Does nothing.
I'm glad he is at least like as a heads up enough of a player to go, yeah, this is my deck does this. I need to make sure that I actually look at the top card before I put it in my hand.
Yeah. It's a very good practice to get into. I know the last time I was on stream, I was talking about it, how especially when you're playing casually, you tend to fall into bad habits.
Yeah. You need to make sure when you play casually with your friends and whatnot that you're playing the exact way you would want to play in a real match.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be like a hard ass about it, but, you need to know how your deck operates and, like, make sure triggers and things and stuff like that. That way, you don't.
Miracle's Terminus off the top. Empty-handed now. Liliana taking over this game.
Again.
Alexander, I think, still has Maelstrom Pulse in hand. So, I think what we're going to see here is...
Oh, he just drew Lingering Souls too.
Yeah,
Just
he's gonna Maelstrom Pulse that, rest in peace.
Yep.
He's gonna plus Liliana.
Get rid of the land in his hand probably.
I mean, or the Lingering Souls. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually, because he doesn't have any white mana, so if it's not a fetch land in his hand, the only way to cast it would be to flash it back.
Yep. Rest in peace, exiles
It is.
itself.
It's a fetch. It's a fetch line.
Plus, well, he has to discard.
One or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he discards,
It's probably Lingering Souls.
yeah. If he discards the land, then he doesn't have the mana required to actually cast the souls anymore.
Yeah.
So you have to discard the souls.
That's fine though. 2 is good enough.
Yeah, this is a pretty bad position for Cheese. He kind of needed to top deck well.
A Jace is okay. It's like probably one of the better things he could have drawn. I think the best thing would have been Teferi.
Yeah, this might be too little too late. If it was Teferi, he could have answered Liliana and then started going up from there. Jace is not equipped to answer Liliana at all. Yep, we're gonna go now. What are our piles? Is he gonna give Field of Ruin plus Jace? I like that pile.
Yep.
I like these piles.
You want your mana or your card advantage?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough decision. That's why you put him in there, right?
Yeah.
But
I think the mana, because like at this point, what are you doing?
Well,
like you're brainstorming to what?
It was really important that he didn't keep a 5th land there in that pile because otherwise, Cheese could do something like.
He forgot to put the cards back on top.
Yeah, I mean, but he didn't like forget to do it so bad that it would have like ruined everything.
Yeah. Oops, top decked a Maelstrom Pulse.
Jeez. Yeah, he definitely has 2 then. One in the main, one in the side.
Yep.
What was I saying? Right. If you don't take the Jace there, you only have 4 lands. Then you need to top deck a land and then a Teferi.
Yeah.
So you're like actually like making it way harder for yourself.
Yeah, but you have other draws like Cryptic and stuff like that.
Cryptic is pretty rough in this situation. Like, because Lingering Souls was going to resolve no matter what.
Yeah.
And then negates.
Shit.
Wow, did it.
Why? Just let him take the 2 damage.
Yeah, he's going to lose 2 life. You got rid of your own negate anyways.
Prove a point, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Cycles a Hieroglyphic Illumination. Takes 2, down to 6. I think Cheese just did that because he knows he's dead.
Yeah, I mean this game still technically isn't over, but Alexander is playing a deck that is designed to go into top deck mode and be better.
Yep. This seems really odd. It's unlikely he has another basic to get from this Field of Ruin, so I mean like, that's probably fine. But I would have done it in response to the tracker coming down, right? Just in case.
Yeah. A little bit of loose play from Cheese.
Yeah. It turns out he doesn't have a basic land to go get. He's just on 2 swamps and a forest. Alexander's going to get 2 clues here. 3 clues. Oh, because he played the fetch line.
Yeah. Alexander